Imagine stumbling on a quiet South Dakota prairie and finding a fortress full of slain villagers, 486 of them to be exact. A massacre that happened in 1325 AD. Nearly 500 men, women, and children killed in one day, almost 2 centuries before Columbus sailed. You probably never heard of this, but it's real. Did the native peoples of North America wage wars as brutal as any medieval battle? Brace yourself, the evidence is shocking. Long before the first European ship arrived, North America was a battleground of hidden wars and forgotten warriors. In this video, we'll unlock bizarre secrets from deep in the earth, burnt villages, butchered bones, and even evidence of cannibal feasts. You'll learn about brutal clashes in canyon cliff dwellings, buried battlefields on the plains, and stone fortresses in the woodlands. Along the way, we'll tease apart clues like mysterious defensive walls and broken weapons to reveal how these tribal conflicts changed history. We'll even show how 15th century feuds set the stage for European conquest. Think you know pre-Columbian history? Think again. Stay tuned, because each new fact twists the story you thought you knew. Archaeological evidence of ancient wars. It turns out, war was everywhere. Archaeologists have found that tribes across the continent built fortifications, palisades, moats, lookout towers, implying they feared attacks. Burnt villages and unburied bones speak of surprise raids. Stone arrowheads and broken clubs tell us how warriors fought. Studies reveal people participated in some level of warfare in all major regions of North America. In other words, from the Arctic to the Gulf, tribal societies warred as fiercely as any ancient empire. The more researchers dig, the more they see war's fingerprints. Skulls with scalping cuts, mass graves like battlefields, even cave art of battles. In sum, warfare played an important role in shaping the socio-political landscape of pre-Columbian North America. The Chouteau Creek Massacre, Great Plains. On what looks today like peaceful grassland, a dark secret lies beneath the soil. In South Dakota, archaeologists uncovered a fortified village and an even darker discovery. Around 1325 AD, a raiding party stormed the earthen fort ditch. In the ditch, they buried 486 people, men, women, children, all slaughtered. This was no small skirmish. It was mass murder. The victims' bones showed ritual mutilations, scalps removed, tongues cut out, limbs hacked off. They had been so thoroughly defeated that even cooking pots contained human muscle residue. Science proved it. Why? Scholars think it was a deadly fight over land and resources, an existential war in a struggle for survival. Imagine waking up to cannibal enemies at your walls. That's what these villagers faced. This gruesome cliffhanger begs the question: if 500 people could die here in one day, what else has been hidden? Warfare in the Southwest, Pueblo cannibalism. Now fast forward to the desert canyons 200 years earlier, around 1150 AD. High on the mesas of today's Southwest, peaceful farming villages had suddenly turned savage. Archaeologists at Cowboy Wash in Colorado found a horrifying scene. Pit houses filled with butchered skeletons. Pots had human fan protein on them. Yes, tribes had literally started eating each other. University of North Carolina anthropologist Brian Billman argues this was war and intimidation. In the heat of battle, starving warriors killed prisoners and ate them, even defecating on victims as a final insult. For decades, this was taboo, but a brutal drought and resource stress triggered a tribal civil war. Over 35 people were butchered and eaten in one attack. This was no myth. New scientific tests, even feces chemistry, confirmed human flesh was cooked in their pots. It's a shocking what if. What if famine turns us that desperate? In this case, it turned neighbors into enemies. Mississippian cities under siege, eastern woodlands. East of the Mississippi, giant earthen cities tell their own tale. Cahokia, near modern St. Louis, was once the largest city in North America. But by 1350 AD, something changed. Walls and palisades sprang up around villages. Archaeologists note increasing warfare, political turmoil, and population movement in this era. In plain language, tribes were fighting. Around 1400, Cahokia's population suddenly collapses, partly climate-driven, Little Ice Age, partly due to enemies at the gates. Other big sites like Moundville in Alabama had massive defensive embankments too. Across the southeast, even Cherokee homelands saw villages ringed by stockades. The story? As corn agriculture boomed and populations grew, clashes grew deadly. Tribes fought over hunting land and status. By 1500, most Mississippian towns were abandoned under the stress of war and weather. These aren't just archaeology textbook footnotes. They rewrite how we see North America. Aftermath. European arrivals and tribal wars. You might wonder, did these old wars matter when Columbus arrived in 1492? Absolutely. The map of native North America was already drawn by centuries of conflict. Europeans like the French, Spanish, and Dutch learned fast that allying with one tribe meant enmity with another. In fact, they exploited these age-old rivalries. The French, for example, formed fur trade alliances along native lines, effectively riding on pre-existing feuds. The Dutch gave muskets to the Iroquois Confederacy, which then used these guns to crush their longtime enemies, the Huron. Sound familiar? It's divide and conquer. Even Spanish conquistadors did this with Aztec foes like the Tlaxcalas, outside our focus area, but same pattern. In short, the secret wars beneath the soil set the stage for colonial politics. Europe's great empires tapped into tribal conflicts to turn battlescapes to their favor. North America's political map on the eve of 1492 was essentially shaped by centuries of native warfare. So what have we learned? North America's story before Columbus is far bloodier and stranger than you might think. Hidden wars, from cannibal attacks in canyon homes to millennia-old fortresses, tell us that ancient tribes were seasoned warriors, not just peaceful wanderers. Next time you stand on a windswept prairie or gaze at a cliff dwelling, remember, entire armies once met on that very spot. And every arrowhead or ruined wall is a clue to a history hiding in plain sight. What other secrets lie buried beneath our feet? If nearly 500 souls were violently silenced at Crow Creek, what else might archaeology uncover tomorrow? Stay curious, because these ancient conflicts still echo in the land and in the tribes' stories. The past isn't done with us yet.